Hi, very good morning to you. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. In this video I just wanted to go over in a little bit more depth about some of the things that the larger departments are clearly not telling people, and you have to ask that question, why is that? Are they aware of what is actually going on with our planet and the geomagnetism and the magnetic reversal? Or are they simply just keeping quiet because what is going on is so unusual that it could become very alarming for the general public? The good thing about us is that we're an independent observatory and we don't have a boss, so to speak. We do have people that could easily choose not to support us, but they want to support us generally because of the work which we do and the importance of that work. But we don't have a boss like, say we was working for NASA and we wanted to bring out something to the public's attention. We'd be told not to do that if it could cause some alarmism. But we should be interested in what's taking place with our Earth, because there's a rare event that hasn't happened for a very long time, even by excursion timescales. The last one was 12,000 years ago. If we talk about the actual fixed full reversal, we're talking 780,000 years ago. And there are, this time round, reasons to suggest that this magnetic reversal cannot be compared to any other previous magnetic reversals because of the length of time at which it has taken to go through a reversal. And I'm talking about that 500,000 years overdue timescale, where on average the magnetic poles reversed every 300 to 350,000 years or thereabouts. What I'm about to show you guys in this video is something no other person is going to discuss with you and show you. And it's probably because the lack of their expertise in this field is the reason why they are not going to go through this with you. So that will prove in itself exactly how much the other people that talk about magnetic excursions, pole reversals and geomagnetism, it will show you exactly how much they know, because if they haven't brought this to your attention, they are lacking in the knowledge of it. So they are not the experts, clearly. I do believe that there are other people in the other organisations like the European Space Agency, NASA and NOAA that create these world magnetic models are aware of it. But I again have to say, why have they not brought it to your attention? Let's get into it. You can see I've numbered 4 regions on our planet on this geomagnetic model. And you can also see that I've put arrows pointing to where the dipoles are, or the actual magnetic poles. Those things that our compass points to in general is the magnetic North Pole. And you can see that there is, on the lower right hand side of this chart, a circling area of intensity, and that strength is around 65,000 nanoteslas. Just above it, where number 2 is, over Russia, there's another intensity, and that is measuring about 60,000 nanoteslas. And then the one over in Canada, where number 1 is measuring around 55,000 nanoteslas. Now, if we go to number 4, which is the lower right hand intensity, where the arrow is pointing at the dipole in the centre of that intensity, you might ask yourself then, why is the magnetic North Pole not centred in one of those highest intensities? A simple answer is, first of all, it clearly isn't. Secondly, the reason for that is because there is 2 high intensities over the North Pole, or over the northern hemisphere of our planet. One is in Canada, number 1, and the other is in Russia. But the pole is not in any of those intensities, and the reason for that is, and this is important, is because if you just tracked over north of England and carried on going past Greenland to the right a little bit, that is where our magnetic North Pole is, in between these 2 intensities. This map that NOAA created is quite misleading because of where they have put the map, but I understand why they've done that, because if you try and unfold a sphere and try and position it where it is, I suppose that's where the magnetic North Pole would be. But it should be more in the region of where I'm about to put it for you, just so we get a clearer idea. I'll put a circle of where the magnetic North Pole is. So where I've placed the circle now, as you can see, a couple of thousand miles above the United Kingdom, is where the magnetic North Pole is, and is currently tracking to the centre of the intensity in Russia, and that's where it should be. And the only reason it's not there now is because of the intensity over Canada is still at 55,000 nanoteslas, but it is slowly decaying, and I can show you that on a video now. If you just watch the top left hand disc, you'll see not only as the pole migrates over a short space of time, it's about 15 years if that, but notice the area over Canada, how red it is when the video starts and how light it starts to go. And then same over Russia, how that region is expanding. And then you'll note that the North Pole is actually drifting over towards the highest intensity. That's why our poles are migrating on our planet today. For some reason, deep beneath the crust over Russia, the magnetic intensity, which is supposed to be created by the magneto, is obviously increasing in field strength. As it's doing that, it has stolen the magnetic North Pole away from Canada, where it was for 780,000 years. But why has none of these departments come out and discussed this super important matter with the general public? Why haven't they said a word about this? What is so important enough for them not to talk about this in, a manner which is befitting what is going on with our world? I can't believe that it's for the reason that they don't know. I can't believe that is the reason. I'm sure they know. If they can build satellites to monitor the Earth's magnetism, they must know. But if they know, why haven't they told people? You would think that people would be interested in knowing all the details about this Earth's magnetic reversal that is taking place. Is there something else? Is the worst of our fears actually more possible than we thought? Is our Earth gearing up to go through some dramatic changes? And if that is the point, is it the Earth's turn to lose its magnetosphere permanently? Because this sort of level of ignorance around this topic from these departments is notably unusual. What you're looking at is the Milankovitch cycle. It's the changes in the eccentricity or the orbital shape of our Earth as it travels around the Sun. And at the shortest point, where it's near spherical, is a point in time which lasts 12,000 years. That's what puts us in an interglacial cycle, which is a warm period. And at its furthest elliptical shape, which is not spherical, we are in a glacial period, a very cold time, and that period lasts just short of 100,000 years. So it's in the nature of our planet to spend most of its time in a glacial period, in a time where most of the Earth's arable cropping land goes offline. It's only in the cycles of 12,000 years, when it's closest to the Sun, that we get more land to use for crops. Now, we are at a point in time where there's 8 billion people on our planet, and we've been used to using that land that is usually uninhabitable or unable for us to grow crops in to feed the 8 billion people that are on our planet. And we're already 6,000 years into that cycle. We're already 6,000 years into the elliptical orbit, which means at some point this Earth, like a switch, maybe not so like a switch, will get turned off. And that could be what we're seeing right now. Because if we look at glacial rebound maps or glacial or Arctic ice amounts, you'll see that there's been over 2 million square miles, which I showed you in a previous video. If you put that 2 million square miles, it would cover the United Kingdom and most of Europe. That was just what would rebounded in 12 months alone. And this year has kept the trend so far. If we look at, videos where Al Gore said by 2014 there'd be no Arctic ice, kids would not know what snow was over the Northern Hemisphere. We see how wrong that was. That statement's got completely wrong. And the departments know it, because they are now geared up to charge everybody carbon tax credits. So there's a reason for supporting still global warming, even though we are very far from global warming, as you already know. And maybe there is awareness of more to do with the effects of a magnetic reversal by these departments than they're letting on. There may be a lot more information that has purposely not been mentioned. It could be the fact that they can't feed 8 billion people at some point in the future, and they need to do something to those 8 billion people in order to ensure human continuity continues and is able to thrive. I find it very alarming that you'd think that these billionaires and, at the top of the level of the world's richest people, Elon Musk is one of those, and he seems to think that the world is not habited enough. He said that there should be twice the amount of people on this planet right now. The world needs more people. But you would think if he had the knowledge of, the severity of what is happening with the arable land and cropping seasons, becoming shorter, and that land reducing that feeds the 8 billion that's here right now, you'd think he would have, with the money he's got, expert knowledge that would make sure he never talks about such things as, let's double the capacity of people on this planet. Because if he had that knowledge, he would never say such a statement. Because right now we are going to start to see more land going offline as a result of two things: a magnetic reversal and a return to a more elliptic orbit around the sun, where the Earth goes cooler and reduces the production of land. We've also seen dramatic climatic changes as a direct result of the magnetic pole reversal. Before I end this video, I just want to show you one last clip which should bring it home to every one of you that climate is being affected by the magnetic poles reversing on our planet. What I've done is I've circled all the important features on these different charts that you're looking at. On the right hand top side, you've got the World Magnetic Model showing you the strength of the intensities over Canada, Russia and Australia. On the left top side, you've got temperature. You can see that where the coldest regions of our planet is, by no coincidence, where the highest intensities of magnetism is. And that tells us that where the magnetic pole tracks to, it takes along the Arctic climate along with it. On the bottom left, you can just see those plume shapes, and when you compare the bottom left with the temperature map, you can see that there is a very close resemblance in the pattern that it is produced, and that is because magnetism is obviously a key component in regulating Arctic temperatures. If you hear other people talking about this, and they've not mentioned the things that we've mentioned in this video to you in the exact same manner, it's because they are not in the knowledge of what is going on. And yet there are lots of people that will happily support these people that are not giving you all the correct information. You know, we've been studying this for a good 11, 12 years now, and we've dedicated an observatory to monitor this, and we have equipment in the field, so we are not comparable by any other person on YouTube or the internet, or even by the bigger organisations. And that has been made possible solely because a few people have put their hand in the pocket to support what we do. This rabbit hole goes a lot deeper, and there could be very little time left, and that should be a perfect reason for you to help support what we do here, because our normal living lives are going to dramatically change, and it doesn't matter where you reside on this planet. You have a destiny with what is going to take place very shortly. That is one reason why you should help support what we do here. Guys, there's a link down there in the description. You can support us, and we can keep you informed of these great changes that are taking place on our planet. There's a lot worse things that you can support, trust me. And if people aren't telling you what you've seen in this video, it's because they are not in the knowledge of what is taking place. Links down there if you want to help support us. I'll say what I usually do: take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.